November is finished up, so here I am again to discuss the games that I played in November. I started off the month with Unspoken around Halloween time, and it's a very short but very scary horror game. I'm pretty sure it tells the story of a cop and a kidnapped girl and child murders or something, but it tells it all in a very mysterious, almost insinuating way, but that's not all the game's about. For a lot of it, you'll just be walking around looking for keys and solving simple puzzles. You get a gun that you'll need to make sure you have ammo for and reload when you need, and you better be checking those corners because these scary fuckers will pop up out of nowhere. Again, it's a very short game, just under an hour, but it's pretty cheap, and it's one of the scariest games that I've played as of recent. Just off the pure vibe of this game, I'd recommend this one. And then, of course, I kept with the Resident Evil 4 remake to finish what I started, and I'm still kind of unsure whether or not this is my favorite Resident Evil game, but it definitely is the most fun one I've played. With how much stuff there is to do, so many different areas, and all of the enemies and bosses you fight, it's crazy to think that this was all done back in 2005. At the time of writing this, I haven't finished the game yet, but by the time this video is out, I probably would have, but man, this game just flows so well. The combat is fun and fluid, enemies are interesting and pose a natural threat, and all of the Resident Evil-ness of it with the survival aspects, looting and crafting, and especially the puzzles are just so perfect. This whole year I played some great games for the first time, but Resident Evil 4 is definitely going to be one of my favorites. And these motherfucking birds outside, let me close my fucking window, holy. And of course, I've been playing a ton of Arc Raiders, and it might be one of my favorite games right now. Hell, I've completely swapped my main channel's content over to only Arc Raider videos. So yeah, it's a little fun. Everything about this game is a masterclass in video game and cinematic design. The graphics and art style are gorgeous, probably the only good Unreal Engine 5 game nowadays. The sound design and soundtrack is top notch, and they somehow made an extraction shooter not only fun to play, but even more addicting and rewarding than they usually would be. And I've played Tarkov, but Arc Raiders is that much more addicting. And through some way in the game's design, they've socially engineered the community to be very friendly, whether through the threat of arcs or the various communication systems. But with this system, it adds a lot more strategy when it comes to approaching enemies, especially in solos. Do you shoot first and talk later, or gather around a couple of friends to take down a big fella? There is so much to this game and everything falls together perfectly, and man, I don't think we're going to get anything like this anytime soon. But in the downtime, I yet again returned to a favorite of mine with Black Ops 3 Zombies and Black Ops 2 Zombies. Fun fact, I used to be a COD Zombies YouTuber, and you can find all my old videos in a public playlist on my main channel, but I have definitely poured over 1,000 hours in this little side game mode over all of the Call of Duties, most of that going to Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2. The thing with Zombies is it's easy to learn but hard to master. The core gameplay and progression loop is simple enough, and most of the fun just comes from learning an easy setup and seeing how quickly and efficiently you can get it done. Shadows of Evil Pack-a-Punch Round 5? Easy enough. DE Lightning Bow? Hell, I know it off by heart. Every map has so much replayability, and it sucks to see what the games have turned to nowadays. But thankfully the classics are still there to go back to, for now at least. And when it comes to Black Ops 3, thank the lucky stars that it was this Call of Duty that got the Steam Workshop. The amount of free content you can find made by fans for fans is something to behold. But while I've been fond of these games throughout most of my life, I really only come back to them in a phase every couple of months or so. But for now, I'll be looking forward for the next phase, whenever that'll be. And in my time revisiting Call of Duty side modes, I also hopped on Modern Warfare 3 survival mode a couple of times. It's very similar to Zombies being wave based and earning cash to buy weapons and upgrades, but instead of zombies running after you, these are just guys with guns. I used to grind the heck out of this game on the old Xbox 360, but now on PC with mouse and keyboard and an FOV slider, it's absolute cinema. My favorite part about this mod is probably just all of the different multiplayer maps you can play, and each one having different enemy types depending on which one you choose, like Village spawning in low difficulty almost civilians with the model 1887s, or higher difficulty ones dropping soldiers with MP5 straight off the bat. and the fact you spawn in with just a pistol means you can just pick up the weapons off of enemies as you go and just keep picking up the ammo and upgrading your weapons as wave increase without having to buy your own weapons. In this game mode, you really feel like the guy and you don't want to die. This is the type of game that a kid in the background of a show or movie would be playing on screen. Just simple running and gunning fun. And then with the release of my Last of Us video on my main channel, which low-key bombed, I put like 6 months of work into it just for 300 views, but oh well, it was a passion project, I guess. I replayed The Last of Us. I played the game for the first time back in March, but throughout the year, I've been itching to get back on it. And along with working on my video, getting my sister to play through most of the game, and the rest of the family playing the prologue, this whole year has just been all about The Last of Us for me. For 2013, when the original game came out, there's no doubt that it was incredibly influential. And even to this day, while a lot of the level design can be outdated and it isn't 100% perfect, the game is still ahead of its time when you compare it to a lot of the single-player story games released nowadays. Stealth and gunplay is punishing yet intuitive. The way each area and level flows is absolutely incredible for the time it was made, and the characters and plot is just perfection. I'm going to get to part 2 very soon. Expect me to talk about that next month. The gameplay seems incredible, but I've heard mixed responses about the story, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Also, during this month, I started a Terraria playthrough with my good pal, went for a ranger build, but I ain't got the time or energy to play this game nowadays, man, so I gave that up after a couple of days. And lastly, new Risk of Rain 2 DLC, probably the best one we've had. Thumbs up.